semifinals. Take it away, Trigonal.
Alright then, down here in the bottom left-hand corner of Old Country, spawning in cross positions on the least rush-favored 2v2 map in the world. It is. Together they form Team Gods of 2v2. We have in the bottom spawn from Kali, the Teal Zerg Knight. And in the top base, pink Terran player from Team Ascension, Lingsanity.
Dun, dun, dun. And their opponents in the top right-hand corner of Old Country. The green Protoss, which represents half of We Cheese You. It is the one, the only, KevJeong. I think that's KevJeong. I'm gonna go with KevJeong. And his partner, representing the other half of We Cheese You, it is from 2D Girl, Q. Caillou? Q. Q?
Q?
Caillou. It's actually just Caillou. Do you know the American Kids TV show? Because that's like what I'm thinking.
No, I don't.
Oh man,
why would I know an American Kids?
I don't know. I like even though it's weird, I'm just remembering watching that and being like, this is the weirdest show ever. I can't remember much about it. But yes, our lovely observer showing these rocks currently in the middle. As we were saying, it is very. I mean, you just can't rush. Period. By the time you actually break them down with whatever 6 pool, your opponent is already ready. And I mean, 6 pools aren't even that good. I wish truly 6 pools were better. Just so like that's the first thing I learned in StarCraft. Like out of every build ever, it was 6 pool because everyone's like, it could be a 6 pool.
It could be a 6 pool. He hasn't built any workers yet.
And then like everyone else I know in bronze is like, oh man, it could be a 6 pool. And I'm like, no, it actually 6 pools. Even if like when I was
people do in bronze though.
People do, but then the other person is like, I'm going to throw some pylons around the map. And then the bronze player is like, I should kill the pylons and like let him survive half the time. And yeah, going crazy. But we see very aggressive expansion from Carly Rae Jaspin's Knight.
Jaspin. Yeah, double gold base. But, you know, I don't see any real reason not to do this much. Like,
I agree. And
you're not going to get punished before both the gold bases are up. It's not like a really early rush map. Larry was saying actually it's pretty all-in favored. Not like rush favored, but the kind of like, I don't know, Protoss 2 base all-in or later 1-1-1 all-in sort of favored. Just because you can't work a scout, you won't have any idea it's coming. Although, of course, Knight does have the power of Overlords on Gods of 2v2 side. So that helps out a little bit. But yeah, Knight will have some incredible income. We've seen builds either use the kind of double expand the gold, even on something like Habitation Station, where you take your gold and your opponent's gold, and the incredible defensive disadvantage you place yourself at was more than made up for by the fact that you had 2 gold bases. So Knight is going to be just having so much money until these gold bases run out.
Yeah, this is... By no means has We Cheese You lost, but just showing their opening compared to the opening of, I mean, a Zerg with 2 gold bases. I mean, just how quickly you can max out at 200, or just how quickly you can make 200 supply of Ling is going to be crazy. But there are these Xel'Naga towers, so it's going to be really important for We Cheese You to take a lot of map control to be able to see this coming. There is the Reaper, though, the first scout, actually, for either of the teams. Yes. From Lingsanity, Reaper goes in. It won't die, but it'll get a nice scout off. Actually, it may die as I say that. Let's see. Believe. Come on, Protoss. Oh, man, this Protoss. Oh, actually, it will be killed in the up.
No.
I was like, is it totally going to... It's...
Yeah, looks like it's going to be okay.
No, it's
up here.
Mama
no. Yeah, okay. There we go.
that was really anticlimactic. I was like, oh, it's going to happen. But... For KevJeong, not sure to go with that, but we're going to go check KevJeong here. KevJeong going for Blink, and I'm liking this as Protoss. I'm kind of curious to see if we'll see him do what we saw in the very, very first game. I doubt it, but that'd be pretty funny, especially 2 Protosses all in, as you were saying, is quite favored on this map, going to do a lot of damage. KevJeong already getting his Stalkers out to start working on these rocks. Yeah,
and we see Blink coming from him, along with a lot of gateways. Kaio's going for some Immortals, and I mean, those are going to break down the rocks pretty fast, but I feel like KevJeong's already getting to work on that. KevJeong can, of course, warp in on the low ground, but Knight has a great pylon, great overlord position. He'll see any pylons that are thrown down to warp in on the low ground, and he sees these rocks being broken down. Now, Knight has full 3-base, almost full 3-base saturation minus gases. You only need, I think, like 14 workers. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
14.
14 workers to saturate a gold base or something like that.
Choosing to go roaches. And he's choosing to go roaches. There is one mosquito in there.
Okay, you only need like about rough 12 workers to optimally saturate a gold base, and he's already a little over that. His main base is a little undersaturated, but I mean, when he will be just pumping out so many units, +1/+1s on the way, and that's a little greedy, but he can definitely afford it on these 3 bases. Like one thing I've noticed in all these 2v2 games is the players have been a little bit shy of committing so heavily into upgrades because the games are relatively
so
short.
easily.
Swings,
yeah.
well, yeah.
It swings.
The mothership core. And swings are a lot more possible. But yeah, the mothership core is down. That's a big loss for KevJeong. I don't think they have any high ground vision though, so that's a big power plate taken away from the blink. But I'm not sure Lingsanity or Gods of 2v2 are able to fight this just yet. Knight actually doesn't have Ling speed, so that's going to be a bit difficult. These Immortal, these Roaches he's pumping out are going to just be demolished by the Blink Stalkers and the Immortals of Team We Cheese You. So we'll have to see how well it works.
We Cheese You is an incredibly scary attack coming on right now, but I mean, if Knight can kind of get in full throttle, he's on 3 bases with gold, going Roach Tech, and it may prove pretty scary. He does have Roach speed on the way and +1/1 for those Roaches. KevJeong, Team We Cheese You is pushing forward quite aggressively. KevJeong does have Blink. Caillou does not have Blink, but has a couple of Immortals along, sacrificing that gas into those Immortals, which I really like, and they're hitting Lingsanity very, very hard. Lingsanity has very few workers here, just a couple of Marines. The Marines do have stim that allow them to give away, and the Roaches of Night are trying to desperately hold on, but the Roaches are just not quite there. Even though he went gold base, it was not quite enough, and so many SCVs coming down for Lingsanity. If I could see, it would be very, very much. But there's also just these Zealots for Caillou doing so much damage here. And finally, Caillou actually decided to go up into the main base of Night. There's a couple Roaches here, but I mean, double Immortal, plus the Zealots, plus the Sentries, is just so much. And even though Night went with this really, I mean, he had it saturated perfectly, he's just not quite fast enough. And into the main base of Lingsanity, all the SCVs are getting killed. Tunneling Claws and Combat Shields are attempting to come down for Lingsanity and Night, but it's just not going to be in enough time. Caillou has so much units, and even Force Fields off the main base of Night, just so you know. I don't even need to deal with that right now. I'll slaughter everything else. But they don't have any idea there's actually these 2 gold bases yet. Actually, they suck.
I think they do. These Roaches have been coming from the right-hand side.
Yeah, they suck creep also.
Pretty consistently. And whilst this is a nice concave for Night, the Immortals are untouchable. It's just not enough. GG. And it looks like Team We Cheese You, true to their word, pull off an incredible 2-base timing.
Would you take us in for the very first introduction for the Carly?
No.
Fine.
I'm joking, of course.
Fine.
Down here in the bottom or left-hand corner of Seething Jungle, it is forming one half of Team Gods of 2v2. It is the Teal Zerg player Knight. And his teammate. His teammate, the other half of Team Gods of 2v2, is representing Team Ascension. The Pink Terran player, even Lingsanity.
Sanity. I'm quite proud of myself. And their opponents in the top right-hand corner. Half of We Cheese You. One of the Protoss players representing them. It is from 2D Girl, Caillou, the Gold Protoss. And Caillou's partner from 2D Girl, it is the Green Protoss, KevJeong. Have you ever seen Community? Because I just keep thinking of Kev, like the Asian guy in Community. I can't think what he's called. Kevin.
And is he the guy who wears that like
sombrero, or he's the Mexican
something of him where he goes, huh, yay.
Yeah, that guy. That's what I keep thinking with.
No, I haven't seen Community.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
What? That's a great show. That is a great show. But to get into this game, Trigonal, what are your thoughts on this map? Obviously, Gods of StarCraft cannot take 3 bases right off the bat, but there's also a little bit of scariness with the Protoss, how they can kind of move out. They can't do it when they want to.
Yeah, I think taking either of these naturals seems like hell for Protoss. Like,
I agree.
Like,
just period.
Think of any map. Protoss has to have that wall off. It's like the most important thing. They can wall off, and then they don't die to Lings. If they don't wall off, they die to Lings. It is that simple. Any of the old maps, Protoss has to do something like 3 gate expands or something, because otherwise they just don't have the gateway units to not die to speedlings. And there isn't anywhere to wall off at all on this map. There's even this ridiculously wide ramp over here, kind of in the middle of the map. There's another ramp up into the area. So I don't know how you expand as a double Protoss team on this map against any team involving a Zerg. So I'll be very interested to see what they have planned, because obviously having chosen this map, they must have something in mind about what they want to do.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking is probably what they're going to do is, it's kind of the situation where, let's say for a third base, your third base is normally a situation like on Vonnie Research Station, is where it's a very open base. And so I think they may just kind of macro up into a kind of tech, they're going to go into their second tech tree, either Twilight Robo, I'm guessing it's going to be Twilight, but they're pretty much going to macro up into that kind of second tech path, and then they're going to expand from there. They're going to have their big tech meaty units that is going to allow them to hold those positions, how you may normally do in a 1v1 game when you're taking your third base, which is generally the open one. And in that situation, you need a little bit of a wall, but generally it's your army which really reinforces that wall, and they kind of work together. You don't need a complete wall off, which, you can't really see on this map unless you're talking like mega greedy, and then I doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we see Knight and Lingsanity taking those natural bases with impunity, because there's nothing that Protoss can do to oppress them just yet. But I mean, we see their plan forming up. It looks like a double 4. Oh no, KevJeong is actually going 3-gate blink, where we see a 4-gate out of Kaio. Oh no,
ooh, I like that deviation a little bit.
No, 4-gate blink out of Kaio.
Dang. So, actually, they're both going blink.
No, they're both players are going 4-gate blink. I can't count. In other news,
I was going with you, and I was like, I like this deviation because we may see Immortals like we saw last time, but I take that completely. Yes, they're both going 4-gate blink, which on this map, it's interesting. They could blink up on these back rocks, which we're seeing in the bottom and kind of the right-hand middle corner, or right in the middle a little bit to the right, or to the bottom actually, we're seeing that, but they're actually starting to move in now. The Lings of Night spot what's going on, and they're getting ready now. All the units are being pulled into the middle of that really big ramp, and it's really interesting. This map's kind of each side and then a middle. The map's divided up like that. It's kind of a cool, each side is their own side because of this ramp. I mean, and we talked a little bit earlier in the first game, Ling Bio is just going to be so good versus this. Stim is only halfway done so far for Lingsanity, but a few Spine Claws going done. Just the one for Knight might be an undercommitment, but we'll see as the engagements start. Lingsanity moving forwards, having to move a little bit back. Knight doesn't have the units yet, but as the Lings come in, a Time Warp goes down on both the units, but it actually doesn't affect that much. The Protoss players are having to blink back as Lingsanity and Knight push forwards, and looks like they've been pushed back for now, but blink is done, of course, and as the blink start for our Protoss players, the Stalkers just gain the extra bit of survival, the extra bit of damage. However, Knight's reinforcements coming in as well. The bio is dwindling away, but as Zerg player is more than making up for it with his Ling Roach. Yeah, the Ling Roach is pouring in now, attempting to defend. There is one Spine Crawler, not quite enough, a couple Queens, but this bio finally is going to have +1 in Stim in just a few seconds, but there's almost no bio left to actually even utilize that. Not doing too well. The Stalkers of the team, We Cheese You, moving in very aggressively. They do both have blink, blinking back nice. The Roaches are doing the most damage here, just accompanied a little bit by the damage, the DPS from these Marines, but they're still trying to fight. They do have an aggressive pylon though, and they are able to warp in relatively close. What's also amazing for Knight is they actually do have this Zelnaga tower, and the forces of Kaio are just in range of that, giving a little bit extra preparation time. But right now, the Stalkers are dancing back and forth. They can't quite make it yet. Time Warp finally goes down, but the Mothership Core will be spotted, or will be taken down. One Queen of Night is moving forward. The forces are dwindling, but KevJeong and Caillou are both fighting quite aggressively. There's no more Warpins yet. A couple actually Warpins, but the Stalkers are starting to dwindle yet. On the same time, both forces are starting to dwindle. It's pretty much only Marauders and Rogies that are really doing the main damage here. Finally trying to go for the Spine Crawler, but they're just not going to be able to do it. And right now, it's just the one thing that's going for Knight here. One thing that's going for SC2 guys, they're on these two bases, but these Stalkers doing so much damage, it's very even.
Yeah, it's really, really tough, and they're starting to break through now, but Knight with a great concave. Drones actually coming off the line, adding their tanking into the mix. These Marauders with +1, that much more effective, an extra 2 damage against the Stalkers. The Blink Micro back, though, is starting to win out, and Knight's Roach count is dwindling. Lingsanity has never gotten up the same kind of big bio ball as he had at the start. I think they might have overextended during that first engagement, and
I completely agree.
Could cost them the game as... Yeah, team we cheese you actually pushing forwards now with almost nothing left here for Knight. It looks like they're going to retreat back and try and hold up on the high ground, but this does of course sacrifice Knight's base, and that's with it a decent bit of
and maybe even the Roach Warren actually. The Roach Warren is at the natural base of Knight, and it's not going to be sniped down yet, but maybe even that. And I do agree, it looks like Lingsanity overextended the very first part, not going with +1 in stim, but he now has +1 in stim, desperately trying to hold here. Roaches are out. They do not have any upgrades, same as KevJeong's and Caillou's have no upgrades, but they do have Blink and fighting quite aggressively. Marie's trying to do something. Finally, there's a medevac to do a little bit of healing, and both these players, Lingsanity and Knight, are on full damage control, attempting to try to fix this, but they are going to lose this base, and I think it'd be very wise of KevJeong and Caillou to snipe down this Roach Warren, which looks like they're actually not going to do yet, which is a very interesting decision. A couple of the Brutalings trying to do some damage there, and finally Lingsanity and Knight are having a couple of seconds just to be able to regroup, but I don't know if it'll be enough. +1 armor is on the way to try to help this, but there's just so few Roaches. The Roach Warren is sniped now, and there's not that much to actually defend with currently. Knight, currently there's very few minerals for either of the players, and this is the final attempt. SCV's being pulled on the right-hand side of these Stalkers. Stalkers trying to do something. The Marines are being stemmed forward and trying to do a little bit of damage. They're kind of holding their position now and not being too aggressively stemmed those because there's only 2 medevacs, but this may have been routed, but it's still so close. Both teams are on about the same amount of economy here. There's still Stalkers Stalkers blinking back, desperately trying to hold. And it looks like Stalkers actually will finally overwhelm with actually even a Zealot being warped in, and the last of the army being pushed back. There's just nothing that Knight can do, even though he was the main army just a little while ago, and it's now for Lingsanity. It's not for Lingsanity.
Yeah, it's tough though. Lingsanity is not looking in a great position. The SCVs are having to come off the line, and I mean, there's just nothing to really deal with these Stalkers. Team Gods of 2v2 have never managed to get up the big ball of units that they kind of almost had at the start. I think they were a little too eager with their first engagement, maybe should have held on a few more spine crawlers until they had a nice sort of decent army that could fight the Blink Stalkers. The efficiency of these Blink Stalkers has just been fantastic. We've got some of them here with one with 11 kills right here, the one with 29 health, and just doing so well, pushing up again, and yeah, it's just looking really bad for Lingsanity. On Knight down on 1 base, things aren't looking so hot for him either.
Yeah, and Lingsanity, which had the key units to be able to defend this, was not able to put down any bunkers because of creep, and to boot, I mean, he has literally no SCVs. SCVs were pulled just previously, and there's almost no production at all. KevJeong and Caillou look like they're going to actually finally move on after this push. And for a while, actually, just to say Caillou and KevJeong, I mean, they're completely saturated and never actually moved out, like you were saying, nor like, in contrary to what I was saying, they never decided to move out even after that. Caillou, KevJeong take 2-0.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.